Good morning, children. Welcome back to English class. So, we are back again with a revision for you, which is based on a poem that's lesson number 5, A Night in June. Now, as we know, children, this poem was written by William Wordsworth. Now, we know that William Wordsworth was born in the year 1770 and he died in the year 1850. And he has given us a lot of humorous poems to us. Now, what is the central idea of this poem? So, the poet William Wordsworth describes about the beautiful night of summer in London. As you know, that men's anxiety is like if there will be no one concerned with the nature. So, he's thinking that in future, in case if there are people who are not concerned or not bothered about the nature, then what will happen? So, let us quickly go through this beautiful poem and revise and do a quick recap. So, children, let us quickly read this poem. The sun has long been set, the stars are out by twos and threes. The little birds are piping yet among the bushes and trees. There's a cuckoo and one or two thrushes, and a far off wind that rushes, and a sound of water that gushes, and the cuckoo's sovereign cry fills all the hollow of the sky. Who would go for parading in London and masquerading on such a night of June with that beautiful soft half moon and all these innocent blisses on such a night as this? So, yes, children, this was the poem. So, now quickly go through the summary of the poem. As we know, in this poem, A Night in June, the poet William Wordsworth is describing about the beautiful night of summer in London. And he thinks that in the month of June, the sun actually takes long time to set. So that time, two or three stars are coming out, and little birds are chirping among the bushes and trees. He also wants to say that one or two birds and cuckoos are singing, and a far off blowing wind and flowing water also is making sound. So all the spaces of the skies are actually filled up by these beautiful things. Now, by the end of the poem, the line of the poems, William Wordsworth also wants to bring to our notice to a conclusion that perhaps he is refusing to go either parading or masquerading, but he is enjoying living in his solitary life ever. That means he is enjoying the bliss of the nature. So he is not actually keen on going either parading or masquerading in London. So this is what was the summary of the poem. So, children, we will quickly go through the reference to the contest and the questions and answers. So, now, children, reference to the contest. The first one is who would go parading in London and masquerading? So, let us explain the use of quotes in these two lines. So, what I mean by this is the quote emphasizes the fact that such pleasures are the opposite of ones offered by nature on a night in June. Yes, children, the quote emphasizes the fact that such pleasures are opposite of ones offered by nature on a night in June. Let us quickly go through the question and answers. What do you think the cuckoo's call is? Why do you think the cuckoo's call is called sovereign? Now, as we know, the choice of the word sovereign might be based on the nature of a cuckoo's song, which has a clear, bold, and ringing quality, which on a quiet summer evening is the countryside might sound especially resonant. So this is what is the answer. Now, which two human activities does the poet refer to in the poem? So, in the entire poem, there are only two human activities which is being referred by the poet. Now, the poet refers to parading and masquerading in London. So, now, children, we will quickly go through the figures of speech of this particular poem. So, now, children, we will quickly do a recap of the figures of speech which is given in your poem. Now, the sun has long been set, the stars are out by twos and threes. So that means if you just check this particular line, it has got two words with the same consonant, that's the same sound, that's T and T, that's T. So when you come across these kind of words, children, this is called as alliteration. Okay. So this is an alliteration. The reason is twos and threes. It has got the same first consonant, that's T. The sound is T. Okay. The next one. The little birds are piping yet among the bushes and trees. So whenever you come across any kind of sounds of little birds or animals, so this is nothing but onomatopoeia. So little birds are piping, that means this is a sound of bird, so that's the onomatopoeia. Now let us quickly go to the next one. Now children, your next figure of speech is one more stanza, that is, on such a night of June with that beautiful soft half moon and all these innocent blisses on such a night as this is. So beautiful soft is what? That's the half moon. So yes children, beautiful soft, generally we say this to the human character. So moon is being actually representing the softness of human beings. And innocent bliss is, yes, innocentness is basically, we find this innocence in human character. So this is nothing but personification. The reason it is representing a non-human thing as if it were human beings, right? So this is a personification. So now children, let us do the next figures of speech, and it is, and the cuckoo's sovereign cry fills all the hollow of the sky. Now children, over here this is a personification. The reason is the human quality of singing is been given to the bird, that's the cuckoo, and that is the reason we have to say that this is a personification. Okay. Now children, we will quickly revise the important figures of speech from this poem. The first one is alliteration. The reason is we have got two words over here with the same sound. That's the first letter T, that's T. So the stars are out by twos and threes. Then the second one is the little birds are piping yet among the bushes and trees. So that's nothing but onomatopoeia. That's the sound of little bird. And then we came across one more figures of speech, which is nothing but personification. The reason is beautiful soft is been the softness of human being is been compared with the moon, and innocence of human being is been compared or representing the the moon, and that is the reason this is a personification. Now the next one is cuckoo's sovereign cry. So the singing, the quality of singing of cuckoo is being attributed to human character, and that is the reason this is a personification. So this was the figures of speech from your poem, children. Okay, so I think we had done a very good revision of your figures of speech. So now we will do the entire recap or the revision of your topic figures of speech from the next slide. So now children, we will do figures of speech based on similarity and likeness. Now here there are two type of figures, simile and metaphor. Now as we know, in simile, if there are few sentences which where we use like and as. So now over here I wandered as a cloud. So over here the loneliness of the poet has been compared to that of a cloud. Okay. Now in metaphor, if I say life is a dream, so life is compared to a dream. So life is said to be a dream. So now how will you basically understand the difference between simile and metaphor is? The simple example, children, if I say she is like an angel, she is like an angel, okay, so that's a simile. But if I say that she is an angel, okay, then that is a metaphor. So this is what the difference between simile and metaphor. So now children, we will do figures based on sound. So as we know, there are three type of figures which are based on sounds. That's alliteration, onomatopoeia and repetition. Now in alliteration, you might come across the repetition of the same sound at the beginning of the word. So the way we have done in the poem with the sound of T. So here it is P. Okay, so it's Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. If you can see, in each and every word we have a sound of P. Now, similarly, in onomatopoeia, when we come across the uses of words that initiate the sound which is associated or with the object or any kind of actions that they refer to. So something like bang bang into the roof or knock 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 on the door. So these are nothing but onomatopoeia. Now, what do you mean by repetition, children? Repetition means it is the literary device that repeats the same word or the same phrase. Something like let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Yes, so this was one of the wonderful example that we actually know. So these are the three type of figures which are based on sound. So it's very easy for you now to identify these kind of figures of speech. So children, now we will do figures of speech based on constructions or arrangement of words. So now there are three types of figures like interrogation, hyperbole and exclamation. So now, as we know, children, interrogation means asking its question not for the sake of just getting an answer, but to point out more effectively. So sometimes we say, "Are you crazy? Can you imagine that?" So yes, these are the interrogations. Now, hyperbole is something like when we see something with exaggeration, like "I have died every day waiting for you." Now we know that no one actually does it. "A million dreams are keeping me awake." Okay, so this is something when we, you know, say certain things on exaggerating certain points. So this is nothing but hyperbole. Now, exclamation is these sentences makes a statement that conveys strong emotions and excitement. Sometimes we say how beautiful the day was and you are amazing. So yes, children, these are the three figures which you can remember as the arrangement of words or constructions. So it is basically interrogation, hyperbole and exclamation, right? Now let us come to the next one, which is figures based on contrast. Now, antithesis. Now, contrast means two opposite ideas. It means in which two opposite ideas are put together in a sentence. Sometimes when we say man proposes, God disposes. So proposes and disposes, these are the opposite words or opposite ideas. Then we sometimes say that one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. So yes, this is again opposite idea. So this is nothing but antithesis. Then personification, yes, whenever we give a human attribute, that is nothing but a personification. The flower danced in the wind. So have you seen flower dancing? No. Time flies and waits for no one. Have you seen time flying? No. But yes, we are giving an idea of human attributes. So this is nothing but personification. So now children, we will quickly go through question paper pattern for your semester, that is a summative assessment 1. So now children, your total marks for your exam will be 40, and make sure that you are going to read the lessons thoroughly. The reason is your teachers may ask any questions from inside the lesson. Yes children, make sure that you are reading your lessons thoroughly. The teacher can ask anything from inside the lesson. Now children, your section A is the reading, which is an unseen passage. That means this is a new passage which you are going to read for the first time, and it carries 7 marks. That means 1 mark each. So there will be 7 questions. Now your section B will be grammar and writing skills. Now grammar, whatever topics you have children, please go through the topics properly. The reason is it carries 9 marks and grammar is basically a scoring part. Now writing skills, again composition, whichever topic of compositions you have, make sure that you are going to go through the format, go through the writing skills, and make sure that you're going to score this 8 marks properly. Now your section C is basically the literature part, which is of 16 marks. Now this 16 marks comprises of extract from your poem. Now we will be giving you an extract from the poem. Based on that, we are going to ask you the questions. The next one is the reference to the context, which will be asked from any of the lessons. Then there will be answer in one sentence and also answer in brief. Now children, make sure that you are going to go through the brief answers properly. The reason is you might come across some multiple choice options which might be tricky for you. So you should be thorough with the brief answers so that it will be very easy for you to score these marks. And I'm very sure that you are going to score excellent marks in English. So yes, children, now we have already done with our poem revision, we have already done with figures of speech recap as well, and we have already discussed the question for summative assessment as well. So now you should be ready for your English revision, and make sure that you are going to do well in your English exam. Now we will be coming back again with one more revision for you, which is of stepping out, lesson number 7, in the next session. So yes, children, till that time, make sure that you revise whatever revision has been given in this video. All right. So take care, children. Bye-bye.